And as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, support's always their primary role is giving attack buffs so that their weight in the party is equal to or greater than if you had brought a fourth damage dealer. That being said, it feels really good. You have so many tools to prevent damage to allies, and there's no greater feeling than giving someone a shield and then seeing them get hit, and then you're like, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm looking out for you.
Yeah.
And then later on, the playstyle evolves, and she's able to build up her identity gauge really quickly, and she can put out heals quickly. And at that point, she is almost like that traditional healer from other games. But at the end of the day, she's still making that choice between, oh, do I, give them a big damage buff, or do I give them heals? And so there is decision making involved. Also, I should really mention this: while the entry point for a bard is really low and very easy to get into, it is another class that is a really high skill ceiling. There are skills that you can time to save someone in a life or death emergency. So if someone's about to die, you can place a small circle underneath them and just completely save them, and that requires really fast reaction time. So you can feel incredible if you get good at that. And then the other thing is, if you buff someone and they don't have skills available, then your buff is useless, right? You have to understand with a bard the right moment to give buffs to your allies so that they are at their strongest at the most opportune moment. And so there's a bit of learning as a bard player what other classes do, and also boss patterns, the best time to give those buffs.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to learn as a bard that you can master it with.
The game's really about burst windows for sure. So maybe you'll be using voice chat, in-game voice chat. You guys can communicate. When you didn't feel damage when you have those burst windows.
Hey, they don't have to ping anymore.
Yeah.
They can scream at their teammates instead.
Yeah. Okay, good. Bard's insane though, so if you're looking forward to playing that class. Also some of the best skins in the game, in my opinion. So. Okay, Summoner. Really good in PvP. If you leave the Summoner alone, they will just wreck the entire team. The Phoenix just obliterates the entire team. Also good in PvE content. I know right now they're looking really strong in Korea, right? That's what I've heard from a few people, that people are saying Summoners look really strong. Is this true?
Yeah, so you remember how I mentioned how they were really OP at the beginning of Season 2?
Yeah.
She's always had this thing about her that nothing could ever replace, and that is a part of her damage is based off of summons. And so while she's running around dodging attacks, her summons are just like slapping the boss, doing damage passively. So part of her damage, not all of it, but part of her damage is always automated. So she's always been very good in prog-based content, and she is also another true ranged class. So she has that benefit of being able to attack from a distance, not worry too much about learning the patterns as much as start talking at attacks out there, and just kind of moving between patterns. So she's always been in a fairly good spot, and she was a very desirable class, and still is when new content comes out, because she's reliable.
Yeah.
And then in PvP, as you mentioned, if you let her free cast, your team will win.
Obliterate the entire team, yeah. So if you're waiting for like Sword or a more mage light class, Summoner might be your best bet for the time being. So, not really like a Warlock. I don't know how to describe the class. It's like, it's a Summoner. That's the best way to describe the class. So yeah, definitely a really good option. A lot of recommended playing Summoner. Great option as well. Okay, on to the Assassins now. Let's start with the Blade or Death Blade. Not sure why you can call it Blade. Okay, so this class, I have a bone to pick with in PvP. So, as cheesy as this sounds, I started with the Blade. It was the first class that I had picked up when I started playing on Lost Ark RE. Came back to it just the other day after just getting tired of playing Zerg because the cooldowns are really long, and I didn't enjoy it that much. That's one of the biggest gripes with Zerg. That class is insane. It's absolutely, I can, in tier 1 or the launch of the game, Blade seems insane. It's just Zerker, but way better in PvP. And I know this is like, that's my gripe. And I'm playing that class in PvP because it's nuts, dude. He's got so much super armor, so much ability. The cooldowns are so low.
People do kind of complain that her kit is overloaded, and it's been this way since she was released.
Yeah.
It almost makes no sense how she can basically contest in a super armor fight.